We approached the front of the synagogue. He began firing at us.
Suspects talking about all these Jews need to die. We're still communicating with them.
Hate crimes are on the rise. Late last month, there were hate-filled crimes in multiple cities. I'm Tim Kremer, Executive Director of the New York State School Boards Association, and in this edition of Newsmakers, we will examine the issue of hate crimes with two experts in their field. Captain Carla DiRienzo oversees the New York State Police Bureau of Criminal Investigation, Hate Crimes Task Force, and Beth Martinez is the Education Director for the Albany office of the Anti-Defamation League. Welcome to both of you. So, Carla, I'd like to ask you first, what is a hate crime?
So a hate crime is a crime that is committed due to the person's race, religion, sexual orientation, national origin, age, gender, those type of things. And they're selected in whole or in part because of those things. And also vandalism we've seen a lot of that taking place lately in public places, private areas, due to a person's belonging to a certain category.
There are certain people who might be typically the victims of a hate crime. Who might those people be?
People who who do fall into those categories, who have a certain religion that they practice, who belong, to a certain group, or who have, depending on what their sexual orientation is. We see a lot of that going on lately.
As the investigation's taking place, there's this link made to one of these categories you're referring to.
There's too many to list right now, but just for an example, such as harassment, assault, menacing, criminal mischief, manslaughter, murder, those type of crimes, if the prosecutor does deem that it does fall into the hate crime category, they are upgraded to a higher offense, and therefore they will receive more harsh, stricter penalties, prison time, fines if there's fines associated with it.
What do you think is going through a person's mind, Beth, when they enter into this world of committing a hate crime?
So like Carla described, hate crimes are because of a piece of a person's identity, whether it be their gender, race, religion, sexual orientation. It's a piece of someone's identity that another individual has a problem with. And we relate that back to bias. So everything goes back to someone's bias towards an individual. We all are born with bias. It's how we're raised, it's how we're developed in society. And when bias is left unchecked, when we don't have the education piece to help people become more respectful of one another, whether they agree with someone's race or religion or sexual orientation, then unfortunately it progresses to things like violence, discrimination, and unfortunately that's sort of how we get to this point of a hate crime. When
you explored hate crimes, do you think that these people who are committing them, do they have like an excuse? Do they say they're unfamiliar? Do they rationalize why they did this?
There's not a single profile that we can say that that person is going to commit a hate crime. What we've seen, they come from all walks of life, religion, different income backgrounds, different areas. We can't say any particular person would commit a hate crime. Based on what we have in our database and the cases we've investigated, all of our complaints they have a unique set of facts associated with those.
So this could be a person who is associated with a group.
Could be.
Or it could be
just
a lone
wolf. Correct. Could be a teenager who's trying to get peer acceptance or something. I mean, it could be, we really can't say one specific.
We are very concerned, obviously, working with the New York State School Board Association. We're very concerned about the impact these kind of crimes have on affecting children, students, and easily impressed by something like this and thinking this might be the cool way to get attention.
Correct.
And it's far from that.
All right. It is. It's scary and it's sad that we have to expose these things are happening in our schools and other kids are exposed to it. We see a lot of it.
Such a polarization among people right now over political issues and a variety of things, where there's rhetoric coming out of Washington. There's negative social media that is out there all the time. There's negative conversations that are taking place on radio and television and such. To what extent does that kind of constant bombardment of those kinds of conversations, that kind of information, lead to some of the hate crimes that might be committed, Beth?
Sure. So I think when hateful rhetoric goes left unchecked in our public sector in any capacity, it gives those individuals that are doing that the green light to continue it further. So whether it's a social media platform such as Facebook or Gab or other platforms that are leaving it unchecked and not curbing the hateful speech online, or whether it's somebody in leadership who's refusing to address it or not confronting the issues that are happening, I think in any capacity, when it's left unchecked, it sort of gives those individuals more courage and more empowerment to continue that rhetoric.
We are hopeful that there's a brighter world ahead of us. So thank you both very much. Carla, Beth, thank you so much for being here. We really look forward to working further with you and learning more about the progress you're making in this important area. Thank you to both Carla and Beth for insightful information on hate crimes. We have provided additional information on this topic on our Newsmakers YouTube page. Also, at the end of this segment, we will provide you with a link to view the extended interview with my guests. Until the next edition of Newsmakers, have a good day.